The Panama Canal stands as a testament to human ingenuity. This 50-mile waterway, completed in 1914, revolutionized global trade. It connected the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Ships no longer had to make the treacherous journey around the tip of South America. The canal facilitated the transport of goods, boosted economies, and reshaped international commerce. The canal operates through a system of locks. These locks raise and lower ships to different water levels. This ingenious system allows vessels to navigate the varying elevations of the Panama Canal. The construction of the canal was a monumental task. It involved excavating vast amounts of earth and constructing massive concrete structures. For over a century, the Panama Canal has been a lifeline of global trade. It has facilitated the movement of goods between continents. Millions of tons of cargo, including oil, gas, and consumer products, pass through its locks each year. The canal's impact on global trade is undeniable. It has shortened shipping routes and reduced transportation costs. The Panama Canal is a symbol of human innovation and international collaboration. The Panama Canal relies heavily on fresh water. The canal needs a large amount of water to operate its locks. Each time a ship passes through, millions of gallons of fresh water are released into the ocean. This water comes from two artificial lakes, Gatun Lake and Alhajuela Lake. These lakes are fed by rainfall. Climate change is now threatening the canal's water supply. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe in Panama. In recent years, rainfall has decreased significantly. This has led to historically low water levels in the lakes that feed the canal. The Panama Canal Authority has been forced to impose restrictions on ships. These restrictions limit the amount of cargo ships can carry. Ships now have to pass through with less than their full capacity. The situation is becoming increasingly dire. Climate models predict that droughts will worsen in the coming decades. This poses a significant threat to the long-term viability of the Panama Canal. Low water levels are having a cascading effect on canal operations. As water levels drop, ships have to reduce their draft. Draft refers to the distance between the waterline and the bottom of the ship. Lighter loads mean fewer goods are being transported. This leads to delays and increased shipping costs. The restrictions have global implications. The Panama Canal is a critical artery for global trade. Delays and increased costs ripple through the supply chain. Consumers may see higher prices for goods, businesses face disruptions to their operations. The economic consequences are far-reaching. The canal authorities are struggling to adapt. They are dredging the canal to increase its depth. They are exploring alternative sources of water. However, these measures are costly and may not be enough. The situation requires urgent attention. The viability of the Panama Canal is at stake. Another pressing issue is the infiltration of saltwater. As freshwater levels in the canal decline, saltwater from the ocean is encroaching. This saltwater intrusion poses a significant threat to the local ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystems are delicate and sensitive to changes in salinity. The influx of saltwater can harm aquatic life. It disrupts the balance of the ecosystem. This intrusion also threatens Panama City's drinking water supply. The city relies on freshwater sources that are now at risk of contamination. The Panama Canal Authority is trying to mitigate the problem. They are building barriers to prevent saltwater intrusion. They are treating water to remove salt, but these efforts are costly and may not be enough. The long-term solution lies in addressing the root cause, climate change. Section 5. Aging giant infrastructure and financial woes. The Panama Canal is over a century old. While it has undergone some renovations, its infrastructure is aging. The locks, dams, and channels require constant maintenance. Climate change is accelerating the wear and tear. More frequent extreme weather events like heavy rains and floods put additional stress on the infrastructure. Upgrading the canal to withstand the impacts of climate change is a costly endeavor. The Panama Canal Authority faces financial constraints. The revenue generated from canal tolls is not sufficient to cover the costs of major upgrades. International cooperation is needed to secure the necessary funding. The Panama Canal is a global asset. Its continued operation is in the best interest of the international community. Investing in its modernization is crucial. Failure to do so could have severe consequences for global trade. Section 6. The rise of rivals competing trade routes. The Panama Canal is also facing competition from alternative trade routes. The Suez Canal, which connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, is a major competitor. The Suez Canal has undergone recent expansions, increasing its capacity. It can now accommodate larger ships. Climate change is also opening up new shipping routes. The melting of Arctic ice is making the northern sea route more navigable. While this route is still challenging, it offers a shorter distance between Asia and Europe. The Panama Canal is no longer the only game in town. The Panama Canal must adapt to remain competitive. It needs to improve its efficiency. It needs to reduce waiting times for ships. It needs to offer competitive pricing. The canal's future depends on its ability to innovate and evolve. Section 7, a global trade artery at risk. The Panama Canal is at a crossroads. Climate change, aging infrastructure, and competition threaten its existence. The consequences of its decline would be felt worldwide. The canal is a vital link in the global supply chain. The flow of goods would be disrupted, shipping costs would rise, consumers would face higher prices, global trade would suffer, the economic impact would be significant. The Panama Canal's decline is not just a regional issue, it's a global concern. We must act now to save this engineering marvel. The time for complacency is over. The future of global trade hangs in the balance. The world is watching. Section 8. Navigating the Future Solutions and Hope. Despite the challenges, there is still hope for the Panama Canal. Addressing the issues requires a multi-pronged approach. We need to tackle climate change head-on. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions is crucial. Investing in water management is essential. Finding alternative sources of fresh water is vital. Upgrading the canal's infrastructure is also necessary. This includes modernizing the locks and reinforcing the dams. International cooperation is key. The Panama Canal's importance extends beyond Panama's borders. It is a global asset that requires a global response. The challenges are significant, but they are not insurmountable. With ingenuity, collaboration, and a sense of urgency, we can ensure the Panama Canal's survival for generations to come. The fate of this engineering marvel and the global trade it supports lies in our hands. Let us rise to the occasion.